Well, I'll say this: I think the Clippers are flawed.
They're very
I don't
flawed.
like I don't like the outside shooting on that team. They can so like to me, Batum and Green are similar guys that are like kind of playing out of their skulls right now. They're going to come back down to earth. Um, who's the outside shooter on that team? Like
They
Kawhi and
designed the
KD are like
Clippers.
all mid range. They don't finish at the bucket.
Jerry West designed the Clippers to beat the Lakers. He added Ibaka because he watched Ibaka slow down bigs in the playoffs, and he knows how. So I understand what they're doing, and I see where they're going. They need outside shooting. Matter of fact, they should send us if they had any assets. I'd be dangling Dinwiddie to them because if they had Dinwiddie, they'd be crazy. They don't really have a point guard that could get them a bucket.
I would do. Would you do Dinwiddie for Morris?
No, no, you gotta think bigger with Dinwiddie. You have to get more with
He's not
Dinwiddie.
playing this year. You're asking a team to take a guy
I
that's not going to happen next year,
There's teams that will take him.
and you got to resign him.
You know what I mean? Like honestly, if Orlando's not re-signing Aaron Gordon, I'm trying to trade Dinwiddie for Aaron Gordon straight up.
The problem I think with Spencer's um, appeal to other teams is you're gonna have to max him because he's going where the money is. And
Right.
then if the money is, and then I guess with the bird rights you can go higher than the outside can.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get his bird rights, otherwise, because he's going where the money is. He does. Spencer wants to win, but he wants his payday, and rightfully so. He earned it.
Right.
He just got hurt. Get it? He's gonna get his money. He's gonna put it into Bitcoin and all that shit. Um, so
Nah, he's
I,
a smart guy, man. I would love to have him stay and be a part of like the original flavor of what the Nets are, but
so
that's out the window now. Now it's like there are no original Nets.
Spencer doesn't sweat these guys. We're like, I see like them all the time saying shit to Joe Harris,
Mm-hmm.
and Joe just like eats it. Like Spencer be like, man, fuck you. I don't give a shit. Go fuck
He
yourself.
100%.
He's not a star. He doesn't
That's
give
the
a shit.
thing I love about him.
Right.
That's the
That's not good for us. We
yeah,
need guys that are gonna kowtow to the stars. Somewhat.
yeah,
And he's not. He just be like, dude, like fuck you. Like I was open. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. No,
Because
I actually love that about Spencer.
that's what
Um,
made him successful. Is that he was like, I can play with these people.
yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah.
That's
No,
how
he has
got
confidence for sure. And all right, so I'm gonna lay out a plan, and you're gonna lay out a plan, and you're gonna go first. Lay out the plan that wins us the championship this year.
this year.
Yes.
We trade Spencer for either a 5 or a 4. That is just a capable starting NBA player. I'm not talking anything special. Doesn't even have to be as good as an Aaron Gordon. Just a starting caliber NBA player, right? There's 30 of them at every position, sometimes a little bit more. And then whatever we don't get from Spencer's trade, we get something on the buyout market that is similar. He's capable of starting. Maybe it's better suited as a backup, but he's a capable starter. We need to get Joe Harris out of the starting 5. We need to get DeAndre out of the starting 5. We need to insert a 4 and a 5. We do those things, we can win a title this year.
So
And
that
probably fire Steve Nash. That's not going to happen.
that's a sound plan, and we got it. We're gonna close on Steve Nash because I don't think we're finished. The way you win this championship is you look at your chessboard and you say to yourself, I have all of the greatest attacking pieces. I can attack at all angles. I can attack. Now, how do I defend? Who do I go out and get that is the one defender that not for these young teams, right? Like the young teams, the reason why they kill us is because they're bouncy, they're fast, and their coaches give them something very simple to do: go to the basket, play with energy, and go to the basket. You're right. But it's not just energy. It's not something that if you look at these losses, they all have the same thing about them. Even last night, they double us up scoring in the paint. And in the playoffs, that quadruples, triples. Like, scoring in the paint is how Toronto won a championship, right? So to win a championship, the Nets need to find another piece that gives them athleticism. That's why I like the Norvel Pell signing, because he's an athlete. At least we would have another athlete and not a jump shooter on the team. And but they need to find someone who could give you a hard bucket, who could drive in, draw a foul, get an offense rebound, and put it back. Most years, I have a list. You've heard my list in the past, yeah, right? Christian Wood. Huh? Say that again?
Gordon's been at the top of it for years.
Yeah, no, because and Aaron Gordon, it's not like I look at his game and go, oh my God, that dude would lead us to a championship. Aaron Gordon is the one player in the NBA that does everything the Nets don't. The Nets are doing pretty good on fast breaks because their guards are pretty good at finishing at fast breaks. But if you had Aaron Gordon running the floor with you on a fast break, they would become the best fast break team in the NBA, hands down. Same thing. Now they don't even have Jarrett Allen to run breaks with them anymore.
Well, I'll add this to my plan. They've got to get Claxton healthy and in the mix in some fashion.
Right. So you just stole.
He's the internal candidate, and then they needed 2 external candidates.
You just stole my thunder, because I didn't name a name, and I didn't name a name on purpose. The way they win a championship, the savior is Nick Claxton for me. There's nobody out there that's really gonna, like, he's never gonna guard LeBron and be efficient. But if you could use that 5 fouls to just make him tall and just make him stick his hands up and run the floor and be energetic and use those fast twitch muscles to win, to basically eliminate the things that we can't do. Nick Claxton is the only hope that realistic hope that I have, that he'll come off the bench and they'll use him at the 4. If they make him bang in the post like they ask, a center to do, then we're done out here. But
it's like he can play the 5 in some line. He can become a chess piece. Like, there's certain lineups he can play the 5 in with Green and KD also on the court.
Right.
We talked about this. I'd love to see a lineup where he's the 4, KD's the 3. Because if you can put him now you can switch.
Exactly. Your switchability,
because he can keep his hand in his face from a distance.
And the kid has the footwork to do it. See,
he can stay with you on the dribble because he's long, he's lanky, and he's still a live young body. He can turn his hips. That's the piece we need, So it's not that he's anything special. It's just he has the body type of what we need.
Right. He has the 2 things that you can't really buy or you can't really just add. He has the length of a center, right? He doesn't have the body of a center. He's skinnier than Boucher, which is crazy. I was watching Boucher, how he plays. Nick Claxton is better than Boucher. And Toronto has done an amazing job developing this dude. They got him in the D-League, from the G League. They picked him up off the scrap heap, and like they continuously, like a lot of times teams think the Nets are Toronto. Toronto, there's only one Masai Ujiri. He's a beast, man. Like, that dude takes trash players and finds them roles, and he picked the right coach. He fired the coach.
When your team is always good, you're not looking for stars out of the D League. You're looking for specific skill sets.
Exactly. Yes.
You can bring a guy into your system and say, just do
this. Yes.
I just need you to shoot. I just need you to rebound. Whatever it is, I just need you to do that. Right. And then we'll expand your game slowly. But,
if you put Nick Claxton out there at 4, right? You slide it, you go DeAndre to start the game. You start with a really traditional lineup. You go DeAndre, Claxton, KD, Harden, Kyrie, right? Don't get fancy with it. Right. You take out you go small. You could pull out DeAndre Claxton and bring in Green and go small and space out the floor. You could do so many things because for the first time you would have two 7-footer-ish dudes on the wings. That's the future of the NBA.
Let's not even like dream that big, right? Like if we got, let's say, JaVale McGee in a trade from the Cavs, and then let's say we bought out we got someone. I'm trying to think of somebody not that great in the buyout market, an Ariza level player, past his prime player, but that can still contribute.
I don't think you could do. We already have our Ariza level player. I don't think you could do that again.
You just hear me out. You add those two types of players, and you add Claxton. Now there are options with the lineups that we can deploy based on our opponents, instead of what we're currently doing, which is just like, look, we're gonna just do the same shit every night, and on most nights we'll flat out outscore our opponent because our top guys are better.
Right, and so, unfortunately, the voices
I don't like speculating on like guys like this whole Drummond thing. Look, if it happens, fantastic. I don't see why that would happen. I don't see why Cleveland would buy him out when they're in a playoff hunt.
I don't even see how another team would let the Nets get him and just win an easy championship.
If I'm Boston and I have that trade exception, there's no fucking way I'm letting that happen.
Because Drummond tries to score on the teams. That's his problem, is because he's asked to do all these other things that he's not very good at. You put him on the Nets, every brick the Nets shoot, like he's the only center that I can look at in the landscape of the NBA. He's a dinosaur. He doesn't do any of the things that you really want to do anymore. Yeah. But you put him on the Nets, he will grab 50% of all offensive rebounds and kick it back out, and this team will gut you. It'll be the equivalent of adding. You remember that year that Jordan came back, they lost in the playoffs because they didn't have that offensive rebounder in Grant.
Right.
They go back out there. They come back with Robin. Robin just knows his role. He just cleans up the glass on any missed shot and kicks it back out, and they would eventually score. Giving the Nets 2 chances to score on 50% of your possessions would be unbeatable in the playoffs. But I don't see how he gets cut. I don't see how he gets cleared through waivers.
It doesn't make sense. Cleveland's going to, at the very worst, you would think they would make the playing game. So I don't see why they would do that. I mean, look, I guess if the Nets loaded them,
The only reason why they do that, and I've been trolling the Cavs blog. It's not relationships. They just really like Jared Allen. Like Jared Allen finishes games for them now, and they're paying a guy almost $40 million to not finish games.
Yeah, I mean, how much of a haircut's he going to take, though? Let's be honest. If he gets bought out, he's coming to the Nets.
Yeah. If they do that, and it would save them a ton of money, but I just don't see it. It would be just too great. So I'm gonna stick with my Knicks Claxton wishes and hopes and dreams.
He's the only in-house candidate they have.
And it would also let them get a guard. I kind of feel like Marks, if he had his druthers, he would get a guard. I think if they sign something remember I told you this, knowing his patterns, he'll find some 6'5", 6'4" shooting guard and add him at the
Travion Graham.
Yeah, he'll get you another Travion Graham. He leads, like, all these players are the same. TLC, Travion. Nwaba was an outlier. Like that dude is a beast, but still, same thing. 6'4" guard.
I gotta be honest, man. I'd like to see Shumpert take some of those TLC minutes.
It's gonna be the same or worse. Like Shumpert, you know why people like Shumpert? Is because he's demonstrative. He gets on the court and he starts making.
It helps in some sense.
No, it doesn't. You see his net rating on the Nets? He was horrible. He's horrible.
Some of that stuff. It's like, who was he out on the floor with?
No, that's true too. But that dude, like, if you're employing somebody, right, and you're a business guy, you have businesses, and when you employ somebody, you got to kind of look at what they're doing outside the job too. Like, if you're hanging out with a bunch of meth heads in Eastern Long Island, you may not hire that guy, even if he looks kind of good. And I'm not saying that's what Shumpert is doing, but Shumpert's mind is in a different place right now. That's why he's not in the league. He's young. He's not even that old. He's not in the
He's got a
league
lot of
because
injuries.
he
A lot of bad
married
injuries,
this.
though.